Welcome to We'll Throw the After Party. It is the Comm Major takeover, accidentally, because Alexis is not joining us this week, but you have Liz, Marissa, and Sly here. We'll see how chaotic it gets without Alexis to keep us in check. It's going to be a good one. I'm thrilled about our lineup for this week because we're doing something that we've been wanting to do forever. We are answering your hot take questions. So, we rant every week and we kind of throw some of our hot takes out the window. Well, for the next 2 hours, you are getting hot take after hot take. Our lineup is everything from breaking down the One Direction drama that's blowing up on TikTok to Our Flag Means Death Season 2 announcements. We're talking Stranger Things. We're talking 911. We're talking Disney, all of the things. It's all happening. So sit back, grab a drink. If you're like me and need some brain cells, this is not a plug, but I am drinking smart water. So I made the joke first so no one else can in the comments. And let's get the show started maybe with some intros. If you don't know me, which some of you might not know me because there's a lot of new faces around these parts these days. I'm producer Liz. I talk about PR and pop culture on the internet and break down all the drama happening. And certainly y'all liked my breakdown this week when we were talking about Liam and One Direction. There's about 3.5 million of you who have now seen my face, which is a horrifying thought to fall asleep to. But we're excited to talk more about it tonight and dip into the nuance that we can't get to in a 3-minute video. And we have Marissa and Sly here, known One Direction fans, Marissa and Sly. So we're all going to do
comedy. Sure. Comedy.
Okay, comedy queen Marissa, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Marissa. I'm at Miss Abobissa on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. That's the order I say it in. And I talk about theater and wigs and basically anything available on Disney Plus and sometimes other places. Which you will hear about tonight. Probably mostly Disney Plus stuff, but other things too. That's a terrible intro. That's the energy I have.
You know what is also on Disney Plus internationally? 911. Hello.
Oh, it's true. And what a great transition to our 911 in-house expert, Sly. Hello.
Hi, I'm Sly. I'm a deaf queer Jane Austen fan. And you can try to find me on the internet, but you won't find much these days. But you can find me here. So hey, how's it going? Let's get into it.
We can find you in many places, just not on TikTok. We were joking about how I made this video of my favorite small creators, and I lead with Sly, obviously. But Sly rarely posts on TikTok, so all the new faces that have now gone to check out your content are waiting for a new video from you.
There's a couple. I got a couple followers out of that video, and I'm like, you'll get them eventually.
It's quality, not quantity, over at Sly Cohen MC. Am I right? But the quantity comes from your shows because you do this show, you do PIP, Point in Progress, and you have a lot going on with that. So do you want to just quickly plug what's going on with PIP?
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit later. But yeah, next week, starting, I guess technically it started on Thursday, but it's the second week of June, which is usually E3 week, which is a big industry event in games media. E3 is not happening this year, but everybody has decided to do their own showcases next week. So it's going to be a very busy week for games media content. And there's going to be a lot from PIP, and we're doing partnership with our very dear friends at 61 Indie. So we'll be, anytime there's a big AAA conference, you can find us live reacting on Point in Progress. And anytime there's an indie showcase, you can find us reacting on 61 Indie. And we'll be cycling all the hosts, so you'll see all of our faces on various shows. But prepping for that's been my week.
It's huge. I'm so excited for you. Marissa, where'd you go on the TikTok live? Oh, there you are.
Yep.
You're back. Hello. Speaking of things in June, happy Pride, everybody. We've done it. We're here. We're queer, as we always say, although I had to say it this time, which is usually it's one of y'all that pitches it. You go for it. It's your big moment.
We're here. We're queer. And we're throwing the after party. Let's get into it.
Besties, what have we been enjoying this week? I feel like we all have strong opinions about one show in particular, and I'm gonna allow Marissa to kick us off.
I've fallen deep into Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm having such a great time. You'll hear more about that in a little bit, but boy, oh boy, I'm right back in.
I have to just, I'm laughing. I have to just quickly pause and explain why I'm laughing. The comments right now, yay gay, and hello fellow gays, I'm late as all usual. I had a conversation earlier today with, I was chatting with one of our viewers, one of our community members in the DMs, and they mentioned in detail, a very niche detail about their life that directly applies to all four of the co-hosts about returning to dance competition and hometown, and I'm like, I understand who watches our show, and as Marissa most beautifully put it, it's just us in different fonts. Each of you, we're all.
Sly said that.
Sorry, oh my god, I misspoke. I'm sorry, Sly. Get all the credit.
I previously have said that. No, I've previously said that the four of us are the same person in slightly different fonts, but Sly said that the entire community,
community.
Our target audience is us in different fonts.
So let us know what font you want to claim in the comments. You get a live claiming. I'll be like Helvetica New, medium bold, italicized. I feel like that's a good one for me.
I really feel
open
Ariel.
dyslexic.
Marissa, what one did you claim?
I feel Ariel.
Oh yeah.
I see that because people either love Ariel or they hate Ariel.
That was just the font name that came to my head.
Call Marissa out. Call Marissa out.
Sorry.
No, I love it.
But also, I am an acquired taste.
Let's like a hard transition back to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Marissa, you have thoughts. So we're gonna get to them later, but we have not all of us here, meaning me, are caught up on all 3 episodes, so no spoilers in the comments. However, very glad we're back in Star Wars world. I really enjoy the quiet Star Wars corner of the internet, which is the people that enjoy Star Wars that are not a part of the Star Wars like fan community that gets dramatic. Mm-hmm. We support all of the actors and talent on that show, from youth actors to actors of color, Black actors and actresses. This is a safe space to talk about Star Wars. We're not getting feisty over here. I mean, we have opinions about how we want to protect people and characters and what we're enjoying, but this is a safe Star Wars space, bestie. So if you have thoughts on Obi-Wan Kenobi, feel free to discuss.
I will say, I was in the notorious group chat, and Bucky made a comment about childhood gifts, and I was reminded of the fact that in my 4th grade year, my birthday, I invited my entire class of 16 kids. And my entire birthday party was Star Wars themed. And
I love it.
It was incredible. And I remember one of the parents of one of the boys in my class was like, are you sure they're a Star Wars fan? Like that? And then my entire birthday party was themed Star Wars, and that note was hit home very aggressively.
Yeah, confirmed.
So yeah, we love a Star Wars. I will say, I've been loving Obi-Wan. There was one moment in episode 3 that it's not a plot, not a story moment, it's a visual moment, but it was a moment where I went, wow, this actor really understands this character, and it made me want to rewatch the prequels. So that's going on my to-do list because I need to dive back and analyze those more deeply.
I have greatly enjoyed going into Obi-Wan Kenobi directly after watching the prequels. It feels like it just happened, which is a very cool viewing experience. You're muted, Elizabeth.
Oh my god, I'm muted over on YouTube. A great time to plug for everyone watching on TikTok that we're live on YouTube and Twitch as well. You can go to Producer Liz into my bio and you'll find us on all the other platforms we're on. But I feel like you're one of the very, very, very few people that are getting that experience, Marissa.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Like absolutely, it is a finite number, but I love it. I think it's fantastic, and it reminds me of like everyone that like would go through the MCU to get to Loki or the shows that came out last summer, and then you get like the fresh perspective, and also the Easter eggs are so much more specific to you. So maybe you'll catch things that others won't.
It's also super interesting because I have seen, well, I don't know that this is true anymore because I'm still confused about where in the timeline Mandalorian and Boba Fett fit because I still haven't seen those either. But I have seen like everything, I guess I've seen everything released in theaters after the original trilogy. And I watched Rogue One and the 3 sequels in theaters. And like I had a very active like Star Wars experience from the original trilogy onwards. But anything that happened like before that or like in the in-betweens that I don't know. I feel like I'm still missing things, but also like keep reminding myself like I've had a valid Star Wars experience.
You have.
I've been a part of this conversation.
I will say there's one thing that you haven't seen that kind of invalidates that for me.
Are you going to talk about the Clone Wars movie?
Yes, the animated Clone Wars movie. And if you haven't seen that, you're not a real Star Wars fan. I say completely sarcastically, y'all. Like, don't take this serious.
Sly is the captain of the Clone Wars.
Okay, so I have a very controversial Star Wars ranking, and I know that, and we accept that, we acknowledge that. But the one sticking point for so many people that are like, I don't care how you order it, but they all get offended that I put Star Wars, The Clone Wars, the animated movie at number 1. It's my favorite. But to Bunky's question, best Star Wars watch order, I am a machete order truther, as you know from my 911 hot takes on how to watch. I think it's, you could watch in any order you want, and it's valid. You can watch in timeline order, you can watch in release order. You're gonna get a great experience no matter what. But I think there's just something so charming about machete order that it really makes the viewing experience so fun.
What is the Star Wars machete order? Don't go every episode, but just like broad strokes.
I'm gonna have to Google it so nobody.
It's like an actual thing. Like,
yeah,
that's where the term comes from, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Yes. We'll find it and we'll post a link. And we'll
I
get
don't
you
know
up
what
to speed.
that means.
It means you watch it in out of sync order.
I know, but like, why?
Because it's more fun, Marissa.
It bridges the character arcs.
I'm going to google.com.
I read on Twitter that it's actually better to watch Our Flag Means Death if you do the second last episode first. Is that true?
No. Oh my god!
I didn't read that. I just wanted to see your face.
That
I know you're very specific about that.
Literally the worst order you could possibly watch it in. Like,
we're gonna talk Our Flag Means Death
genuinely
later.
ruin the show. I would never recommend doing that.
I'm gonna do it. I'm committing to it right now. I will do it. But
somebody else talk about what you've been watching.
Okay, I've been watching Stranger Things. Give it up for Stranger Things in the chat. Listen, I am a Kate Bush truther. I think that is probably one of the best uses of pop music in media ever. Give Sadie Sink her Emmy. I'm so encapsulated by what they've done and the very specific choices that they've made. And I think it was so inventive, and I honestly felt like it was worth the wait, which I feel like I was going in saying, like, listen, they've got a lot to prove for the budget they had and the time they took to do this and the length of the episodes, but oh boy, they did it. And it is chef's kiss. It's so good. So I'm thrilled for July. I'm very much looking forward to it. And it's so hard to talk about this show and not just dig into all the theory. But if you want to hear the theory, Instagram sometimes gets the hot takes on Stranger Things. So maybe we'll do a Stranger Things special when the season ends come July. Would y'all love that? Bunky with the correct energy in the chat, running up that road, running up that hill. I was driving around listening to it earlier today, and I was like, yeah, this is like a literal perfect song choice. The best. I was actually, something I did this week was I Googled other songs that came out in 1986 and that were charting in the US specifically to try and see if I could like catch any spots or like any potential spoilers headed into the next few episodes. And there's one song that is kind of interesting. I'm trying to find the name of it because I'm forgetting right now. What was the name of the song? Hold on.
We're
This
holding.
is important.
We're holding. Thank you.
Thank you, holding.
I was waiting for it. Thank you. Okay, I got it. See, I just needed y'all to make the reference, right? So Glass Tiger, Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone, came out in 1986. Number 1 in Canada, number 2 in the US that year. And the director of the show, Sean Levy, is Canadian. So sometimes when I think about Canadian directors doing like broadband content that reaches all over the world, I think about what kind of Canadian references might they plant. And to me, that song is, the lyrics of that song are so specific to like where we're going with this journey and the predictions that we might be losing a character or characters. I think, personally, should that song appear in the show, it means that we're losing Steve. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Levy did it because we're going to get more music headed into these last few episodes. So that's a very deep cut take that I'm going to be holding on to and waiting for. And I would love to be right. So Sean Levy, don't disappoint me. Put Glass Tiger in the last few episodes, please. Y'all heard it here first. We have it on recorded video now. So if I'm right,
I
I'm
love
right,
when I say something on this show and it comes true. I got video evidence of it.
We have timestamps. We have all of you as witnesses. I'm hoping that I'm going to see Sadie Sink next week. I'm hoping she's going to make an appearance at the Taylor talk at Tribeca. So if I do see Sadie Sink in the flesh, I'll report back about how radiant she is in person. But that's what I was watching this week. Does anyone else want to chime in on Stranger Things? I know we have a little bit of Stranger Things later in the show, and there's some big conversations around Will as a character and some of the pieces that we're missing from Will in this season. So that's a fascinating conversation.
I have not watched any Stranger Things, but you know what else I watched this week? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's just I watched a Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer for MC University. So
talk about it. Let's hear it. What did you think?
Are there any comments to be made about Christopher Evans in that film?
Yeah. So Johnny is.
So it's like, let me give you the next 2 hours of Chris Evans commentary right now.
It's one of the things in that movie is very few characters have like a character arc, and Johnny is one of them. So you got a lot of Chris Evans, a lot of good Chris Evans in this movie. Overall, I was a little let down, but we do get more of Reed and Victor.
Of course.
And so that made it better. But if you want my full thoughts, check out MC University next Wednesday.
Anything
else we want to plug in the what we've been enjoying segment of the show? Have we done it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are we ready to rant?
Is your timer ready for rant?
Yeah, let's talk about the timers. I've once again done it, besties. I really want to know who. Oh, Alexis is here. Hi, Alexis. Enjoying the comments. Listen, if y'all watch every week, you know from time to time this happens. But once again, Liz forgot to stop the timer button. But somehow I forgot to stop it 20 days ago. So when I opened the timer for the show,
possible.
I almost 21 days ago, I was about a half hour off, actually, which is, a little bit upsetting. 11, there's a Stranger Things Easter egg. So we all have to acknowledge Liz screwed up once again. But it's also kind of funny when we log in to do the show. The timer is just still waiting for our rants to finish because honestly, the rants never end when it comes to us. If you don't know the segment of the show, we each have a pop culture rant from the past week that we have 2 minutes to talk about, but we're going to be continually cutting each other off and it's very chaotic. This week, I am ranting about how it feels to go viral. And I'm going to be perfectly honest and tell you that I have not one complete thought about this topic. So we'll see what comes out of my mouth. Marissa, what are you talking about?
I'm going to talk a little bit more about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And Sly?
I'm going to talk about Max Gow telling me I need higher aspirations.
I did not see that in the show doc. Okay. Whew. I might just defer all my time to you, Sly. Okay. Let's see. Let me take a deep breath here. Okay. So I went viral for the first time, really. I thought 1 million views would kind of set me into information overload. And I think I'm sitting at about 3.2 million views on that video, 3.4 million, something in that range, which like that's not a comprehensible number. So I have some advice for other people who would like to go into the millions of views territory, because boy, I've got a lot of feelings.
I hate when you give me extra time. Okay, so I want to talk about little Leia and how she has revolutionized my world. I was not going to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi for a long time. I mean, I still haven't watched any of The Mandalorian. I haven't watched the Book of Boba Fett. Like, I was going to not do it for a while. I hadn't seen the prequels. And then I saw a single picture of little Leia on twitter.com, and I had to be there.
So last week we did an incredible show, and we had the one and only Max Gow on to interview and to talk about, and that was like a career high for me. Like that was one of my like life goals. Like we checked that off the list for what I wanted to accomplish with this group. This brand is We'll Throw the After Party, and Max Gow told me I needed higher aspirations. So here's some of them.
So the first thing I'd recommend if you want to go viral is just say whatever you thought when you were 14, because everything I said in that video is shit I would have said about Niall Horan when I was 14. So maybe just, regress back a little bit to your most unhinged preteen thoughts. Say that on TikTok, and perhaps 3.4 million people will agree with you, because that's the only formula I used. I was on my couch, no makeup, greasy hair. I thought, why don't I film this right now while I have the thought? None of my videos where I look great have done that well, that's a thought.
So basically what I learned from this single picture on twitter.com is that I have a deep connection to Princess Leia that I did not expect, to General Leia Organa. And I saw a single picture of her, and I was like, I need to watch this show immediately. I need to know everything about her. I need to know exactly what's happening in her life at this moment. I need to be a part of this conversation immediately. And so I literally rescheduled my entire weekend and watched all of the prequels for the very first time.
So some things I'd like to accomplish, right? Like, I mean, obviously, like the life goal is to be able to do like Pip and We'll Throw the After Party full time, but that's boring, right? My higher aspiration goals are now, let's get Allie Plum on the podcast. Why not? Do it for Liz. I want to experience civilian space travel.
What do you mean doing this show full time would be boring? I'd like to recenter on that conversation, perhaps during this rant. Actually,
that's a boring answer.
It's not a boring answer. I think that's a very good aspiration to have, and I will get this closer to the camera. Oh, sorry, TikTok. That was even closer for y'all. The second recommendation I have is make sure you scrutinize every word you say, because I use the term weakest link, and I quite literally have, I think, 900 comments referring back to it, which is
Okay, so I literally reorganized my entire weekend so I could watch all 3 prequels. Just before this, before We'll Throw the After Party last week, I had finished Revenge of the Sith, and so I was coming in hot post prequels, pre Obi-Wan Kenobi. I then watched the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Sunday and was like desperate for episode 3 by the time it came out on Wednesday. And oh my good gracious, I love this girl.
On like the theme of like space travel, right? A little more realistically would be like, submarine travel. I don't know. I just like small spaces in dark areas, and I feel like I would really thrive in those environments. So those are on my aspirations. Also, I would like, oh gosh, I don't even know. Like Maxco was the peak, and trying to find where to go from here. I I I don't know where to go.
So my final reflection is, if you want to get millions of views, just be prepared. Prepare yourself. Don't try so hard, because I try a lot and do so much content that I'm really proud of, and I don't care how many views it gets, but just be prepared, because it's a lot. It's overwhelming. But I'm very grateful that so many people want to talk with me about One Direction, because it's literally why I ever joined the internet in the first place. So it's a very validating experience. And I have a lot more to say. And this is a drama that's only going to continue unfolding.
I'm so happy that we got more Leia, just in general. I'm so happy that we got little Leia. I am so happy, reluctantly happy, that her appearance on Obi-Wan Kenobi got spoiled for me on Twitter, because it is the reason that I am watching. And I'm just really happy living in a world with more Leia Organa. And I'm looking forward to the rest of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and eventually watching The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett.
I guess another aspiration I would have is to become like one of those people whose faces you recognize because you see them in like a one-off episode of like literally everything, but you have no idea who they are and you just like know their face. Like that would be great for me. But I don't know. I want you all to tell me what my aspiration should be now that we've reached the pinnacle of having Max Gow on the show. Like, let me know where I should go from here.
I am literally obsessed with Sly doing some career planning as a rant. I think that's really beautiful manifestation.
I'm
Round of
still
applause.
shocked by it. I enjoy dark, small, enclosed spaces. That is my nightmare.
Let's unpack that. I'm kidding.
I like being underwater. Like,
Oh my
that's where
God.
I thrive. I don't know.
I mean,
like
you were a
small
lifeguard.
spaces.
This checks out.
I don't like
Literally, all of my
big
fears.
spaces freak me out. Like I don't do well in open spaces. So I like small. I'm light sensitive, so like dim or dark is better for my brain. I
All of those things are like my greatest fears.
I'm obsessed. Oh, my camera's falling. Sorry, team. Okay, there we go. I'm obsessed. Listen, if anyone has ideas for Sly, like let's get them to the Instagram DMs.
Yes.
We'll
also,
reflect.
if you have jobs, I'm currently looking.
Oh yeah, plug.
Bestie. Yes, absolutely. I'm using the wrong mic this entire time. That's really fun to find out after we do the biggest segment of the show. How's that sound, besties?
Sounds different.
It sounds very different now.
Bad or good?
It's a little tinny.
Okay, well, we'll just switch it right back. Hold on.
Yeah.
Fine. No sense using the expensive microphone when you have a Beat headset mic that's about 5 years old that sounds just as fine.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. It really fun fact about Liz that you don't know. When my mic is not as I want it to sound, it drives me insane when we do a show. But it's fine.
Alexis isn't here, so it's chaos hours. You know, what can you do about it?
How does that sound? Is that worse?
Oh no, that's good.
That's good.
Good.
Good. Okay, we're gonna
Very
stick to that way you won't hear my hair. Okay. We're gonna unpack this comment after the show with Alexis. I also want to call it this comment that came in from Claw. What? Claw. Oh my God. I was thinking Claw and Sly. Sly, why do you think the best web show would be boring to do all the time?
I didn't say that. I said that doing a show like Pip or We'll Throw the After Party full time is a boring answer for what's your greatest aspiration. Like that's a standard aspiration. That's not like reaching for the peak. Max said I needed to go big, and I was trying to go bigger. Like I feel like this full time is attainable. We're going for the stars, right?
Mm-hmm. I have to say, it's very wonderful to see someone refer to this as the best web show. It's very nice to know that y'all actually enjoy what we do every week and come back to hang out with us. One more comment I want to see my mic. Oh, your mic's cool. I love it. Mic showcase. Here's mine. Shout out Andrea, Latinapreneur, who hooked me up with a little Yeti moment.
Shout out to my aunt who hooked me up with a little Yeti moment.
Nice.
Shout out
Nice.
to the HyperX Quadcast S, which I bought myself because I'm a corporate shill. The theme of the episode.
Corporate shill is the theme of the episode. And we're gonna use that as our transition into the first segment of the show, because if we're talking about being a corporate shill, we have to talk about One Direction and how much money I have spent to see 5 British men across Canada. Listen.
And now the United States.
Listen. Yes. Let's just like very high level. If you don't know what happened this week, like I mentioned in the rant, went viral. The video was about something that happened in relation to this bigger drama piece that's unfolding regarding One Direction and specifically Liam Payne. There's lots we can say on this, and there's lots we're not going to say on this. But what you need to know in terms of having a conversation about it is Liam started to gab all of the drama from the One Direction years in an interview with Logan Paul. A fact that no one's really considering here is that Logan Paul, he called a great person, a great friend. And to me, that's a red flag that needs to just be raised all the way to the moon and flown around, because I just, there's a lot to say about that.
Lots of space themes this episode.
Yes, we're
truly
we're going intergalactic.
And to talk more about space, but more specifically than that, to talk more about the One Direction drama and some of the questions y'all have for us about it, we're going to open up the mailbag. How cute is that? We've been asking you all week long to submit your questions, submit your thoughts, the things you want us to rant about, and we've divided up everything you've sent into 3 themes plus a special bonus round, which if you're Bunky, you're going to want to stick around for, because it's very exciting. Everyone's going to enjoy it, but specifically Bunky, you don't know we're doing this, so stick around for that. Our first segment is talking about One Direction and music, because y'all had a lot of questions you wanted me to follow up on based on this video. So let's do a temperature check. Marissa, Sly, where are you at with the One Direction drama? Are we feeling like we know what's going on? Are we feeling like we know nothing? Sly, nervous laughter. Would you like to go first?
So I was never involved in any circle relating to One Direction. So on Thursday, I do a little show called Thirsty Thursdays with JJ, and we had Liz on to talk all about the One Direction drama. And most of that time was Liz explaining to me the history of One Direction.
It's true.
And it was very enlightening. And I feel like I'm much more well-versed in general pop culture. I don't have any thoughts about the Liam drama, but you got me invested in the Peru drama, so that's a win, I guess.
Peru Gate is here, besties. If you follow Larry, oh my god, that's a whole other side tangent. Have you been keeping up with Peru, Sly, since our conversation?
I've been trying.
Sly is in. Okay, we can't. I have to just hard stop. Marissa, please save us. How are you feeling about all this?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I felt pretty educated going in. I also witnessed the Thirsty Thursday conversation. Yeah. It was very educational and entertaining and edutaining, is that what they say?
Yeah. Entertaining Thirsty Thursdays. We did a whole lecture on Liam Payne.
There were slides at one point. There were visual aids.
There were visual aids. We had the blanket out. We had everything. The one time that One Direction goes viral, and I don't have any of my One Direction stuff. I have a large tote filled with my artifacts from the One Direction days that I only currently have 2 items from, thanks to the flood. Alexis is commenting. I literally texted Marissa and was like, "What's up with Watermelon Sugar's friends?" So we're all at various levels of comprehension here. I'm understanding.
It's true. I gave Alexis the bare minimum information she needed to know to understand why Twitter was exploding.
I'm so glad that Marissa, you were there for Alexis. I'm so glad that y'all liked the Thirsty Thursday live. Sly and JJ have some excellent shows coming up, so make sure you tune back in for more chaos over the coming weeks. The first,
and you might see Marissa there too.
It's Marissa's turn next. I hope you come with visual aids, bestie.
Oh, God.
Okay, the first question we got from you about the One Direction drama was firstly from Christina Rose on Instagram, who just wanted to know some of our general thoughts on the drama, which made me go back to my videos. And I realized that I've been talking about the drama and not sharing my thoughts on the drama. So I'm actually really glad y'all asked this question, because if you want to actually know my opinion on the matter and not just my analysis of the matter, it's a little bit different. Who wants a philosophy lesson?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
How quickly can you do it?
Very quickly.
Great.
Who knows what a social contract is?
Mm-hmm. We're all college majors here.
Okay. Yeah. Would someone like to explain the definition of a social contract for the rest of the class who may not know? It's okay if you don't want to, because I have the actual definition up here.
No.
I also could not explain it. Okay.
It's like a concept. I hate when you have to put things to words that you understand like so deeply, but you're like, it's a social contract. I don't know how I would explain it. It's a social contract.
Exactly. If you don't know what a social contract is, I'm literally reading from Wikipedia because it was the fastest way of finding a concise definition for y'all. It is a term as old as philosophy itself, more or less. Social contract arguments typically are that individuals have consented, either explicitly or tactically, to surrender some freedom and submit to an authority in exchange for protection of remaining rights and the maintenance of social order.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really interesting when you think about what's happened with One Direction since the band disbanded and they went on hiatus, right? The biggest lie in pop culture history is that they were going to go for 18 months. They've had, oh my God, Bunky, don't bring Beauty and the Beast into this moment. I truly, term as old as time, social contracts. Yes. So it's explicitly clear, if you follow One Direction since they disbanded, that the 4 remaining members, Louis, Liam, Niall, and Harry, had a social contract amongst themselves, regardless of what the contract said, regardless of the NDAs that they've signed, that the 4 of them would more or less protect each other in the press, and they wouldn't spill the tea, and they wouldn't get messy, and they wouldn't pin against each other. And the press has tried. Radio interviews have tried to pin these boys against each other. And even when you can tell they're annoyed at the questions and they're annoyed and they don't want to answer, they still have always found a way to pivot through and broadly stroke over these questions around what they think about each other. Until this moment, right? Liam was the first to swing the bat and break the social contract. And that's what I think is most interesting about this. Because why would you break a social contract? If you look at the definition, right, it's because you're no longer benefiting from the order that's trying to be maintained. So Liam has he's trying to cling to his relevancy. And the way that he can do that is by breaking the order that he has previously benefited from, that he clearly feels he's no longer benefiting from. So I think that you're going to see a few things happen next, which I think are really fascinating to watch. You're going to see a lot of non-responses from the rest of the band, like announcements that they're doing other things. You're going to see them come up in the press for other stuff that they're doing, but they're not going to respond to this. And you're going to see Liam spiral down a path where he's continually talking about this, because even if he steps away, even if he tries to regroup and do other things and step back from all of this and recenter and then pitch himself out again, he's already swung the bat once. He's like, it's already done. So I can't see a future where he does not continue to unravel this way in new inventive ways, whether it's in interviews, whether it's on Instagram Live, whether it's feeding things to the tabloids. We're in this era of One Direction mess, and I'm kind of living for it, honestly. Anybody else want to talk about it?
Frankly, we have too many questions to answer, Elizabeth.
It's true. Let's move on. Danielle wants to know our favorite member of One Direction.
Niall is the one who did Heartbreak Weather,
Yep.
the song with the
Correct.
good bass line.
Yep.
That one.
That's a strong answer. TikTok will love that. Yes. Marissa?
I know it's single song.
Do you want my 2014 answer or my 2022
Let's do both.
answer?
Let's do both. If you have both, I would like to hear it.
My 2014 answer, because I wasn't a directioner, but all of my friends were, and so I had to pick someone, and it was very much the like queer person. I don't actually care, but I need to pick one of them to say that like I claim them, like you know, that whole thing. And the only one that wasn't taken was Liam.
All right, there you go.
But now it's
sweet.
Harry, 100%.
Yep.
Because it would have been Harry at that point too, but
The Harry girls vice script him.
yeah, it was scary.
Yep.
I chose like what at the time was
safe
a
answer.
very safe, like non-confrontational, didn't have to like defend anyone. I didn't have to explain the suspenders. Like I was just like, that one, sure.
I was also a Liam girl, and I have been trying not to say this since all the drama broke, because I have not been a Liam girl in recent years, but oh boy, I was deep in Liam territory. The man hugged me at the Take Me Home tour. Like I was deep down Liam Payne Boulevard with my adoration of him. So it's a little bit soul crushing to see what he's been doing in the recent years, and like the homophobic song, the biphobic song, the horrible homophobic statements he has made and has implied over time. It's just garbage. So definitely do not consider myself a Liam girly pop anymore. Which makes it hard, right? To think about like, where does that leave me? Because I genuinely do like all of them. I'm definitely a Harry girl, like 1,000%. Y'all know me. I'm Harry Styles City up in here. Clearly.
Yeah.
I love Harry Styles, but I will also say my original bias when I first met the band was Zayn. Okay, love Zayn.
Ooh.
I was a Zayn girl,
Well,
and then
out for you.
that checks out for me. I kind of think it does.
Yeah.
And then I went straight to Liam territory, like a hard left that way. But I really think that Zayn's music is severely underrated, and he's had massive chart success, and I think that he can get back to that. And I'm excited to see where he decides to take his platforms moving forward. But like I say that, and then
the fun artists one, right?
He's the one that left early. He did
And
Pillow
did all the cool
Talk
art
and
stuff.
yeah. You got it.
I'm learning.
Bye, Alexis. We love you. See you later.
Bye.
Yeah. So Liam's made some big homophobic remarks over the years. There's a couple TikToks going around of fans that have met him and interacted with him where he's made some dicey comments. He made some interesting comments around how he wouldn't trust his son around Harry, which is like horrible. One of the songs on his album is extremely biphobic, and that caused a whole riff. That was the moment where I split off and was like, until he released the album, I kind of had stopped following him, and I gave the album a shot, heard that song, and was like, I am out. Goodbye. I put my membership back on the shelf. I will not pick it up again. Like we're done with this man. Yeah, so it's very disappointing what he's turned into. But I really like what Zayn's doing. I think his music's super inventive. It's really cool to see someone that was restrained and their music style really come into something so different. But like I've also had to replace my Nile records because I play them so much.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's really hard. And I think that like I can't pick right now, but I'm a Harry girl. Like I am a Harry Styles girl. But I just next question. Okay. From Mac's Musings on TikTok. Is equitable / accessible concert ticketing possible? What would reinvented ticketing look like?
Yes, but it would require an entire overhaul. And the problem with that is you often see hesitancy towards an entire overhaul of a system, right? It alienates the people who have been using a specific system for so long. But it is absolutely possible. It just requires a lot of time and effort. As to what it would look like, you really need a system to reward your most loyal people and give everybody else an equal footing to get to that level, right? So it it looks like, scheduling times, letting people pick their times to get a slot. It looks like making sure you don't oversell venues. It looks like making sure you have specific accessible seatings and spaces for your venue that are accessible to obtain. And that's a big one. I know it's specifically when I was at college, I was right next to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And the only way to get tickets in the interpreted section for shows at OSF was you had to call a phone number.
That's not
And that is
accessible.
not accessible. So when you're looking at your accessible sections and your accessible seating areas, you have to make sure that the way to obtain those sections is accessible to the audience you're catering towards. And that's a big one. I feel like this is just me ranting.
Well, it also requires the artists or the attractions or the whatever that are being ticketed to acknowledge a problem and to be vocal about working towards a different solution. Because if Harry Styles, if Disney on Ice, if whatever the big attraction things are just gonna be cool with the Ticketmaster system the way it is, it's not gonna change because it's not working for the people that are paying money. It's working for the people that are making the money. It's a top-down problem, or it needs to be a top-down problem.
I like this comment that's come in from Bucky. It's interesting to observe the differences between ticket sales for a concert with tiered seating versus Comic-Con, where most tickets are the same. Now, I kind of want to take this question and I want to twist it a little bit because I feel like within convention ticketing, what gets interesting is trying to reserve your spot at those reserved seating, limited seating, like what I would call your sessions or even your micro events within the event, right? And I feel like I always see
your panels, your theater events, and so often.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just have lots to say about convention because I've worked conventions. And so the idea of having a pass that gives everybody equal footing and then you choosing the experiences you're going to works in some sections, but it also means you have people sitting in lines for hours upon hours sometimes. And some conventions are very good about very explicitly limiting the time that you are allowed to wait for events, and some are not. And so that's a different, that's a management level. That's not a system level. But the difference in that is that a concert is a single event and not an experience. And so that the difference in how those are presented is really interesting.
I also think it's interesting to think about how the digital ticketing process has changed all of this, because I remember a time where you had to physically go to a box office or you had to go to a Ticketmaster store to specifically buy a ticket that they would then print out and put in your hand. And the ways in which the digital ticketing process has given way to so many scalpers and resellers, and the ways in which they've attempted to combat that, which in actuality just make it more difficult for the people who actually want to purchase those tickets. It's interesting to think about how the system has changed and how it has become in ways more accessible, but also less accessible, excuse me, because of the steps that they're trying to take to make it more accessible.
And this is rapid too, right? In 2012, my One Direction ticket was taped to the wall so I wouldn't lose it in my bedroom. like my physical ticket, because that's how it was. Like, if we lose this thing or it gets destroyed, we're done. Like, we are done. So in the midst of all my One Direction posters was my physical ticket to the show taped, and I got there and like my ticket had like tape lines on it, like ripping off the color, because like that's how I was like, I need to make sure it's in a safe spot. So and the first time I bought Taylor Swift tickets, I didn't buy them like because I was very young, but when we went to buy them, the ticketing website was entirely in Times New Roman font. Like, it was not Ticketmaster and the stuff. It was like a like scrappy put together situation for a music festival. It was not any of what we have now. And that was in 2009, maybe. So like, we're not talking about systems that like have had time to evolve. We're talking about brand new problems that like we have not even begun to see innovation around, which I think is also fascinating. And happening alongside conventions being the most modernized they have ever been, like in seeing such rapid growth and how we gather and do those styles of things.
Yeah.
I could talk about this all day. I also could listen to Sly specifically talk about this all day, because like I think your perspective on like cons and their functionality is so interesting.
It's that balance of computer science minor and working conventions.
Can I sidetrack us for just 1 second? Because I want to know if y'all remember this. Do you remember the Leaky Con where they premiered a Harry Potter Musical 3?
Yeah, it was here.
Did you go?
No.
I remember following it on Tumblr and Twitter and seeing the chaos from the people that were at the event, because they were like trying, I don't remember what the restrictions were around like lining up for the show or whatnot, but people were like trying to figure out the hacks for like making sure you had a good place in line so you could race for the good seats, and people trying to use how far they had traveled as justification for cutting in line. And I was just like, I remember that as a moment of like, holy cow, this is crazy. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah. That was a cultural moment for a very niche group of people, which we are in.
It's true. It's true. But it's so reflective of this conversation, because it was like a moment where it was easy. Maybe it was easy to get tickets to LeakyCon, but then like what huge percentage of people that went were only there because they wanted to see that specifically, and they weren't taking a part in everything else. Or if they were, it was very passively. It's interesting. Interesting. Anyway, side tangent. Do you want to talk about Taylor Swift?
Talk about Taylor Swift.
Let's do it. And then we're ending the music portion of the show. Annie LW on Instagram asks, what is Blondie doing with the re-records? If she got her masters back, why has there been no announcement? And again, I shall spoon feed you my theory, which I'm happy to say all the time, because I would love to be right about it, but I actually am starting to think I might be wrong. We'll get to that a different day. I think there's a few things that are happening. One, there's a lot of theories that she bought her masters back. I am unsure about this one, but I like the idea of it, because if she bought back her recordings, is she still going to release the re-recordings? Who's to say? I feel like she will either way, but that's just my take. I think we are not getting an album soon. I said this on Thursday, I'll say it again. I think that it's irregular for Taylor Swift to release her music this frequently. And the fact that we got 5 albums in 3 years was highly irregular for her. So I'm not surprised that like this moment feels particularly long, and it feels like she should be giving us more. I also think it's making us overlook what she is giving us, which is a commencement speech, her director's talk next week. She released This Love. She has a single coming out with Where the Crawdads Sing. So Taylor is still active. We're just waiting for these big moments that we've received many of. And these moments have all been monumental. Like, she has not missed. So I think the moment feels long. I think we want to get back into the excitement. I think my wallet's happy. We're not in the middle of another exciting moment. Except I bought tickets to see her at Tribeca. So that beats everything I just said. However, yeah, I think August maybe we'll get something, whether it be the announcement that something's coming or we'll get something. I think she's going to let the summer go by with the singles that are coming up that we already know about, and maybe one other new song or like a dropping of maybe one other piece. I don't think we're getting another album till the fall at the earliest, besties. I'd be very surprised if she did another surprise drop.
Yeah. It's also been like a long time without a tour, and usually her albums are divided by tours. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows anymore? Like, it feels like there were like 5 months between the Red announcement and the Red drop, and then like it was like 4 albums in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then now we're just all a bunch of question marks and clowning on Twitter.
Right? It's true. Do y'all know what I want her to do next, which is very different from everything I've just said? I want her to announce a week-long residency, like at the Bluebird Cafe or at like Red Rocks or at an iconic location that's not necessarily a stadium, but the whole idea.
She would do great at Red Rocks.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know if she must have played the venue like a long time ago, but she started doing arenas at Fearless. So anywho, I want her to pick an iconic venue, kind of like what Lord's doing, and book it out for like 2 weeks. But every night it's like a different album, but you don't know what album you bought tickets for.
Ooh.
Maybe she would do it after all the re-recordings have come out, but I love the idea of like a surprise Taylor show where maybe they limit so you can only buy tickets to one show. Of course, people would find their way to get into all of them. But you can't buy based off the music. You have to buy just based on the vibes and then be happy with what you get. I think that would be such an interesting way of seeing her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would enjoy seeing any artist that way, though, to be clear. Like, I think anyone that has a huge discography should do like surprise set list shows.
That'd be cool.
So there's the Taylor theory. I'm going to report back next week once I see her at Tribeca. I'll be unraveling the Easter eggs I try and find. I'll be letting y'all know what it's like to be within proximity to her. I'm going to be losing my mind, but in a very professional manner. It'll be great. Where are we going next? I feel like Sly has had an interesting question come their way on Instagram.
Is it a question?
So I of course, we were making the promotions to ask questions, and Liz had a wonderful comment about her liking my sweater. Not this sweatshirt, which is, Liz merch, right? Not this one. No, Liz said she liked my freaking bright orange Corn Maine sweatshirt, which, if you don't know Corn Maine, you should, because I have 4 of their sweatshirts. That's
exactly why I was laughing. It's the only reason why I know is because you wear the sweatshirt.
So
me on the East Coast of Canada having such niche knowledge.
So the problem is, I had one Corn Maine sweatshirt, and it was the one that looks like this. It has the logo on the front and the Ford on the back, right? In black. And then I got another one which had the logo small, and then I started wearing that one on shows a lot on accident. And then recently I got 2 more, one of which is an identical one to the big logo black sweatshirt. So now I have 2 of them. And I also got the orange one. Which is the last time they're ever getting free advertising on the show. Corn Maine, if you want more advertising, pay us.
What do they do other than sweaters?
a construction contract supplier.
Corn Maine, our email address is in our bio.
Clearly a perfect match for this audience. We have to send them this and see if they want to listen.
Can you imagine the She-Hulk after parties sponsored by Corn?
We have a construction themed segment of the show where we just talk about the buildings.
If they want, I have we also have a bunch of the Corn Maine Waterworks division does fire hydrants, themed fire hydrants every year, and we have multiple of them. That could be my set dressing.
Just fly with various fire hydrants at different heights.
They're this big.
I was imagining
little decorative ones.
Yeah, I was thinking a literal fire hydrant. I was like, you have full functioning fire hydrants in your possession.
They're little displays. Every year is a different theme. They're very cute.
Oh my god.
You spent so much time talking about it.
I didn't mean for this to become a thing.
It's a thing. I hope y'all are laughing as much as we are. 'Cause I'm about to take my puffer. Oh my god. Marissa, is there any entities you would like to plug that don't sponsor you that should?
Not at this time.
No.
I'm
No?
available. I am interested in fielding offers, but I'm not going to give free airspace.
You're not gonna give free. That's fair. That's fair.
It's a good tactic. I wish it were me.
Okay. Trying to find a segue. You know who we give free advertising to every waking moment of the day is Marvel. Let's talk about the MCU.
There we go.
Okay. As I regain my breath, a question from Max Musings. Thoughts on rumors of a Hawkeye Season 2? Now, good time to plug. If you are one of the rare people that have not watched Hawkeye Season 1, the machete order to watch it in is episode 1 of Hawkeye, episode 1 of We'll Throw the After Party Hawkeye Edition.
Oh, okay.
Episode 2 of Hawkeye, episode 2 of We'll Throw the After Party. Or were we still Stark? We were still Stark Radio. Stark Radio, episode 2 for Hawkeye. Watch the show and then watch our show because I think it's better with the running commentary, personally.
Probably,
You'll have fun. So
There's a fun Easter egg for all of our music fans in the thumbnails for the videos. Go find them.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. It's true. Round of applause to Sly, who's been killing the thumbnails lately. Honestly, so proud. Okay, rumors on Hawkeye Season 2. What's going on? Does anyone know?
No, but I think it's more like
aren't we great commentators?
I mean, I've seen it. Like,
yeah.
Listen, this sort of came out of the For Your Consideration Emmy submissions for Hawkeye, which was submitted for comedy series, which that show's not funny enough to be a comedy, but also it was not submitted as a limited series. So like there's a potential that they could do more of it. And I think it's more likely than almost any of the other Marvel Disney Plus shows. Like, I think it would be sort of fun if they continued the like holiday theme. Like I saw some people on Twitter talking about like a Halloween themed Hawkeye season. Like, could you imagine Kate Bishop and Yelena doing
Pride themed Hawkeye?
I think Hawkeye is pretty much a Pride themed show already. Let's be real.
We talked about in one of our episodes, what Pym era would you like to see? And we talked about glitter rainbows for Pride. So I think there's a world in which Clint Barton uses his Pym arrows to make Pride glitter.
We're not. No. He's not a part of it.
He's gone.
We're not a part of anything to do with Pride.
Kate Bishop is the ultimate ally because she has never dated a straight person in her life. And I love that for her.
Yeah, true.
Hell yeah.
True, very true. JJ says, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more of Haley showing up in a bunch of stuff soon. Do we think we're going to see Haley in some Marvel projects soon?
I mean, everyone basically that's ever been in a Marvel project is rumored to be in Secret Invasion. So I'm going to just believe that everyone is in Secret Invasion.
That's tea. That's
so
good. Yeah.
Secret Invasion. Oh my God.
I think it's been interesting with the Miss Marvel promo. We've heard a lot about Brie Larson reaching out to the lovely folks and perhaps being in the show per se. But it makes me wonder, like, if there are other cameos in that show that they're using Captain Marvel to kind of cover, right? Like, let's lean into the fact that this might be a cameo, this might be an influence, obviously, since Miss Marvel. So, like, it does check out. Just, like, maybe there's going to be a surprise or two thrown in there.
I mean, they made a movie together. Like, it makes sense that they're talking about her. But, like, way back, I saw it rumored that, like, potentially Captain Marvel would show up in, like, the post-credits of the final episode or something to be, like, the tie-in to the Marvels or something. But I don't know.
I think that...
Sorry, I'm just going to say Bunky says She-Hulk, perhaps? That would be an odd place, I think.
Not in New York. She's on the West Coast, right?
Oh, is she?
Which could kick off West Coast Avengers.
Sly is rooting for West Coast Avengers.
I love West Coast Avengers. And yeah. Anyways, but yeah, for as for Hawkeye, the one thing I can talk about, if they, I see them trying for a season 2. I really hope we don't get Climber, or if we do, it's his farewell, and that's very much the beginning to kick us off, is him not being there.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it I would enjoy, because so much of Hawkeye season 1 for me was all about Maya Lopez, and with the Echo show being more heavily focused on her.
Yeah.
I don't think season 2 of Hawkeye would have much for me personally. But if they do it, I want to see it. I want to see the PI era. I want to see Kate Bishop in LA, like, make it happen.
West Coast Avengers.
West Coast Avengers.
Well,
Let's see
the
it.
the 2016 Hawkeye run leads into West Coast Avengers.
Yes.
So, like,
I know. Anything to lay the groundwork.
Anything to lay the groundwork, and do West Coast Avengers and make it a Blade tie-in, because that idea is genius. Come on, Marvel. If I can think of it, you can think of it.
I mean, does that sort of answer our next question? Do you have a Marvel wish list?
My Marvel wish list is West Coast Avengers, but instead of the weird, like, cult thing, make it a Blade tie-in. Yes,
right. I mean, I knew the answer before the question was asked. I was like, well, Sly's answer is West Coast Avengers.
What are y'all's Marvel wish lists?
I have an extremely specific take.
When Liz says this, I never know if it's going to be something serious or if it's like, I want Ben Platt.
I was not going to say Ben Platt. Now I wish I was. We love a Ben Platt jump scare. Now that I can't do it the rest of the episode because you've already taken the Ben Platt jump scare. Next time. No, I have a hyper specific take that involves my 2 most talked about Marvel hot takes, or my top 2 Marvel hot takes, which is that I was right about Harry Styles running the MCU, and I hate Chris Pratt. I would like Arrows to kill Chris Pratt in any appearance, perhaps a variant. Like, I'll take like zombie variant Star-Lord. I'll take like a variant from the multiverse that they're like defeating through. Okay, but I want to see it. I want to see Harry Styles and Chris Pratt going at it, and Chris Pratt lose to the power of Harry Styles.
Liz wants this to happen so bad. She's like actively manifesting Harry in Love and Thunder. Like,
I'm
to the point where I'm pretty sure she believes it.
I believe as much as I thought Bunky's infiltrating my mind. Bunky Barnes. As much as I think Bucky Barnes is in every single Marvel property, and I go into every new Marvel property thinking that Bucky will be there, I now fully anticipate Harry Styles is going to appear when I least expect it. So I'm always ready. And if Harry Styles walks into Thor: Love and Thunder, takes out Chris Pratt, and walks out, and that's all he does, then I'll be satisfied. 10 out of 10 movie.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's, oh my god, kill Quill with kind. Kill Quill with queerness. I want it on a sweater. I'm gonna. Can I make a TikTok based on that? Can you let me know now so that I can think about that later? Thank you for that. I'm gonna make a TikTok. Thank you. Okay, Marissa.
Love and Thunder is still top of mind, so I think the top of my wish list right now is a Loki and Thor reunion, which, you know, maybe, but will probably, if it ever happens, won't happen until after Loki season 2. Obviously more Yelena, more Wanda. I wish we would have gotten a more definitive answer at the end of Multiverse of Madness. I think that was a total cop-out. I made a video about it. More women, more gays. I've been hearing really good things about Miss Marvel, so I'm excited for that. That's not a wish list. That's a thing that's already happening. But yeah,
I like it. That's a solid list between the 3 of us. Sly, anything you want to add?
I like how y'all have like reasonable requests that I'm like,
I think West Coast Avengers is very
I think
reasonable.
it's the most.
order.
I'm asking for Harry Styles to appear in Thor: Love and Thunder and say no words and take out Chris Pratt. I think that is way less realistic than your take, which is.
I'm asking for
very
a character that is canonically not alive to return. So, actually, several of them to return.
Okay, one of my favorite wish list items, this is absolutely one.
Oh my God, Bunky! I didn't even think about it. The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Where is our energy right now? Oh my
God! Listen. Okay, stop the whole show. Stop the whole show. Stop the whole
Hold
show.
the
Stop it.
presses.
Listen. My brain just broke. I have such a wish list of who I think should be Andrew Garfield's love interest in The Amazing Spider-Man 3. It changes all the time, but the most consistent casting that I have, because right away, I have to take all the Marauder fan casts off the table because I couldn't handle that. So just take them all off the table immediately. You ready for my take? Dev Patel.
Oh. That's still a Marauders fan cast.
I know, but still.
Oh, that would be so good.
Dev Patel and Andrew Garfield, are you kidding?
Beautiful. That'd be so fun to just
energy.
look at.
I mean, that's the correct energy to be bringing.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for ruining the entire show, Bucky.
Does anyone else want to fan cast a love interest for Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man 3? I'm also trying to think of actors that are like I have a lot of thoughts on actors that would have worked in the original timeline as a love interest, but now we have to consider if they're going to do it again, it's like an adult Peter Parker and a lot of time has passed, like it's like et cetera. So like, who do we have who makes sense for who Andrew Garfield would have to be in this movie? Because we're not doing 19-year-old Peter Parker.
Yeah. I don't know. Now that's all I can think of.
Dev Patel. It's a good one, right?
Ah.
Well, we'll give it some thought, and then Sly, if I get an invite to MC University to talk about Amazing Spider-Man, perhaps I'll come
You mean
prepared
when?
with a list.
You're on the schedule.
I know.
They have a lot of movies to get through, Liz. It will happen.
And I need all of that time to refine my list of casts. I will tell you who's not on the list.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that's not where I was going. Yeah, Ben Platt, exactly. Ben Platt's not on my list. I don't want to see that man in Amazing Spider-Man 3. Okay. Next on the Marvel's wish list, I'm jumping here because I decided I don't want to talk about Morbius anymore. Let's talk about House of Harkness news and rumors. Who knows what's happening with House of Harkness? Sly?
Apparently, they're rumored for release in the 2023-2024 TV season. So, question mark? I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts on this except for... Yeah?
I know something. Sorry, Slice, finish yours. I just remembered that I actually know something about this.
Marissa's brain cells just came together on that one. They said, oh, we figured it out. Love that.
I just feel like if you have Catherine Hahn and you put her in anything, no matter the quality of it, it's gonna be great because it's Catherine Hahn. So I don't really have any big brain thoughts on that. That's my
I think that's a big brain thought. Okay. I'm completely with you on that.
Yeah.
Marissa, what those brain cells put together?
I can't find the official information anymore. But at one point they either it was announced by like Deadline or it was rumored some of the writers that were attached to House of Harkness, and they were some of the writers from WandaVision. So that was exciting. Specifically, I remember the writers for WandaVision episodes 6 and 8.
Nice.
Which are some of my favorites, which is the 80s episode and Previously On, which is my favorite episode of television ever. So
I'm really
That's the news that I actually know.
I'm really surprised that we had zero reference to Agatha in Multiverse of Madness.
They barely talked about Vision. Why would they talk about Agatha? I can't go into a rant about this right now.
I know, but I feel like it would have been less of a stretch in some ways. We're talking about the Darkhold, talking about all the magic and all the context building they did around all of that, and they're not going to bring up the people that wanted to see that happen. Like Agatha wanted her to turn into the Scarlet Witch, right?
Yeah, not really.
No, I don't know.
She wanted her power for herself, and when she became the Scarlet Witch, she was freaking terrified of her.
But it was terrified in like a kind of loose screw in the brain, like, wow, oh my god, the Scarlet Witch. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people that wanted to see a Scarlet Witch in this universe. Like, that's what that made me believe. So I'm just surprised there was no referencing of like actual people in the universe that would have been thrilled to see someone be a Scarlet Witch. Why are we all scared? People wanted that power. Like, wouldn't someone have been like, I don't know. It's just my take. We're here for the hot takes. Hi, friends on TikTok. You can come over and watch us on YouTube and Twitch if you'd like by coming to the link in my bio.
JJ, that's the answer. You've done it.
Pause the show.
Henry,
Pause the show. Pause the show.
Solved it all.
We're pausing. I'm sorry.
We've solved it.
That would
be beautiful. Is there a photo of them together? I'm Googling.
God, I wish.
There is!
I don't know. There is?
There is.
Oh, there has to be. They made a movie together.
I know. I'm downloading it as we speak.
He's the freaking guy in Tick Tick Boom.
Oh!
Listen. This is too much for my little brain.
You're so right.
He's also a Broadway star, but
I mean, no, when I think of Tick Tick Boom, I loved the movie so much, but so much of like my conceptualization of that story is with the first Broadway cast, and so I just kind of project them onto every iteration of. Yeah. So yes, I totally spaced on that.
Yeah,
he's great at Tick Tick Boom. Oh, so beautiful.
This would be excellent casting. He would eat up Marvel writing.
Thank you for your contribution, Vanessa. But can we
No, you know what? Throw Vanessa in there. I'd like to see her take on a Spider-Man script. Why not? Make her receptionist too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would love to see. Okay. But some of my favorite characters in the MCU, which we've already established, like my main favorite characters, which are very spicy takes. But my actual favorite characters in the MCU are Barrett Doss and Alex Weiss as the receptionists.
Great take.
I love them. I love them so much. I need more Broadway stars that I'm in love with. Playing assistant / receptionists in Marvel projects.
Absolutely.
Do you know who my favorite Harry Potter character is? Regé-Jean Page showing up at Bill and Fleur's wedding with no lines. He just stands behind Emma Watson and goes, and then that's it. That's the whole thing. It's my favorite. I consider it a Bridgerton crossover. Personally, I think they exist in the same universe, and he's a time traveler.
Absolutely. That's the same delusion as me saying Evan Peters winning an Emmy for Mare of Easttown is an Emmy for WandaVision.
Yes. Indeed.
Okay. We need to move on.
Let's move on. How about, for the sake of time, we move into Our Flag Means Death? Would we like to do that, or do we want to talk about anything else related to Marvel?
We're excited for Miss Marvel next week.
We are. That we should say we're going to do a whole series about it, so we are genuinely excited.
Stay tuned for a month.
Yes. Stay tuned. Our Flag Means Death, Season 2 announcement. Marissa.
Woo-woo. I mean, I said it here that I thought we would get a Season 2 announcement for Pride, and I was right. Excuse me. And I have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, brain off. No thoughts, just pirates. I'm thrilled. I'm
Just
thrilled
pirates.
because
That's
it was,
going in the highlight reel. Just pirates.
because like at a certain point I was like, maybe it won't happen, because just purely for the sake of Taika Waititi's schedule, I was like,
Yeah, that's
who knows?
fair.
But no, we got confirmation that's happening. No other information. It was announced on the first day of Pride Month. Like, it was pretty obvious that they waited to do it. Thank you very much for the ticker. Yeah, it was pretty obvious that they waited until the start of Pride Month to do it, which feel like there was a certain point where the energy was like really peaked, where they could have definitely done it, and then it kind of died off for a week or two. So it was like they're pretty obviously holding out for this. So I have rainbow capitalism feelings about that, but it's happening. And maybe I can get a moment's peace in my brain where I'm not thinking about gay pirates anymore.
I don't
Before
think
we get to that, let's jump into our next section, and with the question, which gay pirate are each of the hosts most like?
Oh my god, I love this question. I thought about it a lot. Not really. I thought about it a little bit.
Marissa immediately lies. Big wife energy.
Purely off vibes. Anybody in the chat who has seen Our Flag Means Death, please tell me if you agree with this or not, because I feel like it could go a lot of different ways for honestly all of us. I feel like Alexis is Jim. And I know that sounds controversial potentially to people who know Jim,
Googling
but
this.
it's
This
the
is
knives. It's the
non-binary
knives.
pirate?
Yes, it's the constantly holding a knife and being ready to throw it and actively throwing it. And like,
That's good. That's a good take.
and just like
I know nothing about this character, but
like
that's good.
sheer like protective, violent energy that Jim carries feels very much like Alexis to me. I know that maybe not a lot of people that know Alexis would think that to begin with, but like that's who Alexis actually is she's ready to throw a knife at you at any moment.
Alexis will send you, if you say, I need to know how to like do X with X object in terms of self-defense, you will immediately receive an hour of videos of her perfectly describing 5 ways of doing it with captions. So
Yeah. And then I feel like oh my gosh. I feel like Sly, I keep going back and forth because like, do I go with the pairing? Do I go with Olawande? Or Sly also to me has very oh my gosh, what's the character's name? I can think of the actor's name. Roach.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Pause. Jim can do literally anything and has the most interesting life ever, but that only comes up in conversation once in a blue moon. That is Alexis.
Jim's entire arc on the show is like secrets about their life just being randomly revealed, and like them having truly all of the skills necessary. It's like
that is
very
Alexis.
Clearly Alexis to me.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Sly, I feel like could either be Olu or Roach.
Me Googling.
Why do I feel this way?
Here's the thing. The only one I know
it's just a vibe
is
thing.
Jim, because it speaks Spanish, non-binary, and the other day was hanging out with the actor who plays Blair the Elf on 911. So
I initially I was like, well, obviously Sly is Jim, but like that it doesn't actually work like character-wise. So I feel like if we're going with like husband energy, you're Olu, who is like Jim's sort of partner. But I also sort of get a Roach vibe, but like I think I'm gonna stick with Olu. I think that's the more complimentary answer, honestly. Roach is great. He's the like chef on the boat. But I don't think he's gay. I think he's one of the ones that we don't know about. Olu. It's Olu. You're Oluwande.
I googled our flag's means death Roach, and one of the first things I saw was a meme that's Roach's top surgery clinic.
He is the,
And I appreciate that
boat, like,
vibe.
doctor. He's the boat like medic. Liz,
Sly can do anything a lifeguard can do, which is some level of medical attention in an emergency situation.
Basically, it's very close to the equivalent of an EMTB. The only difference is I can't give medications.
So I'm right. The vibes aren't off. Correct. But I'm going to stick with Olu. Liz is hard because...
Are you saying I don't have gay pirate energy? Because I'm offended.
No, you do, but there's so many parts of you. I don't know what to narrow it down on. This is hard. Like, part of me is like Lucius. Part of me is like Frenchie. Part of me is like, maybe you're an Ed Teach. Maybe you're a Blackbeard. I don't know.
Why would I be Blackbeard? Is that Taika?
Mm-hmm. Because he's like really aggressive, but he's also secretly extremely sensitive and like very loyal.
Maybe it's a sign. Go ahead.
Well, you also could be Frenchie, who is like just the nicest. Just the nicest, but also very crafty. Like
I am not crafty. Hard line. I can barely use scissors.
No, not that kind of crafty. Like
it's crafty.
Sneaky.
Oh, okay. I'm with you. I'm like, listen, arts and crafts failed.
I don't know. You're tough. I feel like
maybe it's a sign I need to watch the show.
Obviously, it's a sign you need to watch the show. This is all a sign you need to watch the show. This is a sign everybody needs to watch the show. I could also just like stick to the couples thing and be like wife energy and be like, I feel like I would not go with Steed and Blackbeard. That's not us. But I would go with like, Black Pete and Lucius. And I feel like you have more Black Pete. I have more Lucius energy.
Okay.
Oh, maybe Liz is Mary. Oh, Bunky. Maybe Liz is Mary. Maybe Liz is the wife. She's, yeah. That's good. That's good.
I cannot wait to rewatch this with context.
Please. Oh, Mary really is a star at the end of the series.
Beautiful.
I don't know who I am. I feel like probably, if I'm being honest, I'm Lucius. Or I want to be Lucius. Obviously, I want to be Blackbeard because he's my favorite, but I think probably I'm Lucius. Maybe Frenchie. Maybe I'm one of the real problems. Maybe I'm like Wee John. I don't know.
Why don't we park it there for the sake of time? And
I know that was so
come back.
That took way too
long. It was good. It was necessary, I think. I think this was needed progress.
For literally anybody who has not watched Her Flag Means Death, I'm so sorry.
No, it was
Please
great.
go watch it. Come back. Figure out what I said.
So we have more questions related to revealing who we think we are in terms of different pop culture contexts. But before we get there, there's a really interesting video posted on TikTok by Max Musings about modern myth. And I have been, it's been the conversation of my brain all day long. And all three of us commented on that video separately, to which I took it to the group chat and said, well, I took it really to the pre-show and was like, let's talk about it because thoughts. So the context of the video, if you haven't seen it, it's well, I feel like I'm not going to do this justice. Also, feel free to chime in, everybody. But it's the idea of like stories that are retold a bazillion times through different contexts. So like Romeo and Juliet would be one, Cinderella could be one, and it was a conversation of like what are other examples of such storytelling.
I think this is really interesting because when I think of like the concept of a modern myth, I'm thinking more along the lines of the stories that are originated from the internet, like creepypastas, like that kind of vibe. That's what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking more modern myth. And I feel like Spirit's podcast has done multiple episodes talking about like the idea of myths and modern myths in this context. But the idea of like novels, like narratives that are then iterated on being a myth, like fundamentally like shook my idea of like what we define as mythology. And so just like thinking about retellings as iterations on myths and expansions and reflections of the like time period and the culture that they are reinvented as is just so fascinating. And I don't have any like answers, but just like the thought, the question is so interesting to ponder.
Yeah. I feel like if somebody asked me how I would define the modern myth, or like what I would say is the modern myth, I feel like my first answer would be the rom-com. Because
wow, that's interesting.
Because it's a genre and a formula that continues to be like reiterated and reinvented. But it's not like like I mean you can say like, you know, Comedy of Errors or Measure by Measure or whatever Shakespeare can be considered a rom-com, but like I don't know. I feel like that to me is like the modern myth. But then I also think like, is there really any new storytelling? Like, even if you go back to Shakespearean times, like Romeo and Juliet is a retelling of Pyramus and Thisbe. Like, everything is a retelling of something that has already been told. So, like, where do we create the like modern idea of what is storytelling and how we tell stories? And so it's such a good video, and it like everything she said, I was like, yes. Like every question that was asked, I was like, yes, obviously. That is the modern myth. Like, such an interesting conversation.
In reflection of the video, as I was chatting with Marissa earlier today in a pre-show panicked car ride in which I was stuck in construction traffic and called Marissa because you call your wife when you're panicked, much like Sly and Alexis do every week before the show. Really felt like some Sly Alexis energy happening.
I didn't get the visual, but I got the talk through of driving.
Marissa got an entire narrative of driving through the city. It was very descriptive. But in between the honking at other cars, I was considering the question or the prompt of if the most successful franchises of today are those that are based on modern myth. And I thought of the MCU and the idea of hero stories and the idea of taking heroic stories and applying them to heteronormative structures that dominate society, like white cis power and military and all of these things. And I also thought it's interesting when you think of it in the context of franchises that are great but have a different type of seriousness to them. Like if you think of the Fast and Furious franchise and like the retelling of their own story over and over and over again with a slightly different context. And then my mind dared me to consider the Step Up movies.
Ooh, that's a deep cut.
Right? So Sly, I want to hand it to you. Do you have any thoughts on like the role of the Step Up movies in modern mythology?
Oh, I think that's so interesting because the idea of this like franchise, looking at it through a like 2022 lens, is you have this like foundational movie, the first movie that had this very, kind of a basic hero's journey story, right? Yeah. And how they played with that and with the like systems of power and structure and used this medium of storytelling that is a symbol of rebellion and how that's portrayed in this movie for a very generalized audience. And then you look at how they retold the same story like 5 times and put different contexts and different locations and different characters with different backgrounds and created very different stories. It's a great example of how we twist mythology to fit our culture and our stories and our values. And that's a great point. Yeah, I think Step Up definitely falls into the idea of like, especially that foundational movie, the first movie being like the origin of this like mythology, and then how they iterate and also how they connect all the iterations. But yeah. No, I'm all for that. I totally agree.
What a fun train of thought.
I also don't want to spend too much time on this, but I also think it's valuable to consider like the concept of the myth in general and like how the idea of the myth tells us something about ourselves and our world and our society, and like when we're considering like what the modern myth is, like what that tells us about ourselves and about how we understand the world and how we understand each other.
Yep. Not a transition, just a fact. I would love to flag that my phone's at 3%, and it was at 80% when we started the live, which is alarming for a whole set of reasons I can't understand.
I thought you plugged in all of your things. You actively said, I'm plugging in all of my things.
I didn't plug in my phone because it was at 80%. I don't know what happened. So perhaps we end the TikTok live and plug that we're about to do. Let's spoil the show. Let's talk about some of the questions we're about to do. We're going to dig into the songs that would save us from Vecna, 1D Zodiacs, 911 OG, and Lone Star, and other such related shows. Disney sing-along songs, and then a rapid-fire round inspired by Bucky. So if you want to come watch, head on over to YouTube and Twitch. We've got about a half hour left of show, and we want to see you there. But I'm going to end the live before my phone does it for me. Bye, TikTok! Hold on, here we go.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, this is a brand new phone, so I have to figure out what happened. I think it's just because my TikTok is continuing to blow up on me, so perhaps it's just the volume of things happening at once. But regardless, let's continue. Okay, what songs would save you from Vecna? This is a question related to Stranger Things season
Please
4.
explain.
Is somebody gonna tell us what that means?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what that means.
Is it the song that would bring you back to life? Is it just your favorite song? I don't understand.
So this is a little bit spoilery for Stranger Things. Okay, so if you want no spoilers in your life for Stranger Things, please exit the live for a few minutes. But I'm going to explain this with the least amount of spoiler possible because it's worth watching. The gang uncovers that one way to escape this demon that is refrigerating people is to have a cue from the world that like from the real world. There's like the demon and the upside down, which we know of Stranger Things, and then there's the real world, right? So if you have some kind of audio-based cue thing that can pull you back like to reality from the upside down, you might be able to live. So the way that it translates is if you like play your favorite song that you have such emotional attachment to as Vecna is trying to get you, it'll give you enough emotional strength and power to escape. So it's not like bring you back to life. It's not like, and then there's a whole dramatic series of things that happens when Vecna tries to take you, including levitating in the air. It's like a whole horror-based thing. But the idea is like, what song would like supercharge you to defeat the ultimate villain kind of thing? And that's a very broad interpretation of this. If we're talking Stranger Things spoilers, I get way more specific. But for this conversation, there's your prompt.
This is so hard for me because I'm not a big music person.
Yeah.
But like songs that I have an emotional connection to. My first thought is okay, so this song is the theme song for an audio drama called the audio drama is called Next Stop, and the theme song is called We Can Stay. It's written by Evan Cunningham, and he made a full version of the song, and you can buy it on like the Multitude DFTBA store, whatever. And I loved the theme song, so I bought the full version of it. And that song is such a jam. I'm pretty sure there's a video of it on my TikTok somewhere. But Yeah, I think that's the first one that comes to mind. But I'm sure there's songs I have more emotional connection to. This is hard.
Mine would be Something There from Beauty and the Beast.
Yep.
Or something from Mary Poppins, but I can't pinpoint which one it would be. It might be Stay Awake, which is not an energizing song, but it is the song that I like feel the most when I listen to it from Mary Poppins.
My answer might be oh gosh, How Could I Ever Know? Secret Garden.
How dare you put Prepared from Hoodwinked into my mind, JJ? Do you know, have I spoken about the goat scene in Hoodwinked and how it fundamentally changed the pathways
I
of my
think
brain?
the first time we brought up Hoodwinked from JJ.
I have Hoodwinked was such a moment in my, it's a conversation for offline. How dare you put that thought in my mind? If you've seen Stranger Things and you think about that scene and then you think about that song playing in the background instead of Kate Bush, I'm truly losing it right now. Marissa, that's a perfect answer.
Thank you.
You aced it, bestie.
Thanks.
I'm really loving a chorus line. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, get it. Yes. Bend and Snap, Legally Blonde.
Ooh.
Beautiful. Any of the songs from 6. I think that's a really safe. I like that. It's a good answer.
Yeah.
When You Wish Upon a Star. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We really have a musical crowd here.
Ooh, you know what it might be? Mine might be the full 20-minute soundtrack to Fantasmic. I love Fantasmic.
That would also give you so much time to run away from Vecna. So, like, I appreciate it on a tactical level as well.
Yeah.
So my other answer would be like, oh god. So one of like the popular songs from like my 50s playlist, like Chantilly Lace.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm sending a link out right now in the chat. I made a playlist called Taylor Swift Songs That Would Save You from Vecna, and I made a video about it as well. But you can, if you'd like to hear my thoughts on the Taylor Swift songs that I think would give anyone the power to escape Vecna, please feel free to go listen. I also have to say, like, my pick here, I don't think is like what the Stranger Things writers had in mind. Because I think that it would have to be a sad song for me. I don't think it would be like a motivational musical number. I think it would be from the seasonal sads playlist, you know? Like, Sly, I'm surprised you didn't say I Found by Amber Wren.
Ooh. too many complicated emotions there.
Yeah, like, that's a fantastic song. I feel like if I heard it, it'd be like, oh yeah, I should like escape this guy. Sure.
I have too much memories associated with that song. It
That's
would
fair.
be complicated feelings.
That's fair. That's why I didn't put All Too Well by Taylor Swift on the playlist, because it's just it's too much. It's too much. It wouldn't save me from Vecna. I will say that if I had to pick like an ultimate sad song to save me from Vecna, I'm going through my ultimate sad songs playlist trying to pick something that like I think would truly work. I'm giving this a very serious level of
Everybody's
thought.
answers in the chat are great.
They're so good. Louis Capaldi's cover of When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish, I think, is one of the greatest pop music moments of all time that no one ever considers or talks about. So that might be my song.
That's a very Liz answer.
It's a very sad cover, guys. Add it to those sad playlists. Okay.
Mine would be Andy Miantis's cover of A Year in the Life.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You win. You win.
Mm-hmm.
You win. You win. You win. You win. You win. You win. Give me 1 second. Do y'all want to move on to the next question? Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, so the problem with this next question is it's two things I know nothing about. So Bucky asks, give us your 1D zodiacs. Which band members are your sun, moon, and rising? So I had to Google what the sun, moon, and rising represents. So for anybody who doesn't know, the sun sign represents ego and motivations, moon governs emotions, and ascendant or rising speaks to the energy that we put into the world. Fun fact. I also still don't have any idea who these people are. Motivation wise, who's the gay one? Louis? I'll say
That's a harder question than perhaps it is to ask.
so Louis' son, moon, emotional nature, the one who did Zane. Zane's the one who left early.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Okay, so moon, and then
That's
the energy
really
I put it out into
interesting.
the world. What energy do I put out into the world?
Niall.
Niall. Okay, there we go.
Mm.
So
I
what did
actually think
say?
you're a hairy moon.
Am I a hairy?
But I'm
moon?
also
I don't
thinking
know.
about long hair, dark era Harry.
I think I am. I don't know what my sun is. I think I'm a Nile moon and a Harry rising for sure.
You're a Zane son.
See, that's what I thought, and I didn't want to say it. But I think that's true.
I am, if I had to be critically honest about myself, I think I'm actually a Louis rising.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm also thinking of my actual zodiac, which is a Leo, Aries, Leo.
Yeah.
And I think that might actually be a good thought pattern in terms of One Direction as well.
That's-
I think I'm both a Louis sun and rising, but I think I'm
Oh, sure.
I think I'm a Harry moon.
Yeah.
So what would y'all's answers be for me then? Because I have no idea.
I think you're a Harry moon. This is such a serious conversation for me. This is like the gay pirates all over again. I think you're a Harry moon. I
But
think
isn't
Do I
like
need to look up my
an
actual chart?
Aries?
I'm an Aries sun. What's my moon? Pisces moon and a Leo rising. If that means anything to anybody.
See, that to me
does.
would be Harry, Niall, Zane.
but to me that's not accurate though.
No.
But I hear you. I'm with you, but to me it's not accurate. I think Sly is actually a Nile sun. I cannot believe we're having this conversation.
I
sorry.
love this conversation.
I think you're a Nile sun.
Okay.
I think you're a Zane moon.
Oh.
Okay, so I was on the right track there.
Yeah. And I think you're a Harry rising.
Hmm.
And I'm specifically considering long hair era Harry, where he was pissed off about One Direction and wanted to take a break. Because that was a really interesting
Harry.
moment. Not quite at Chaos Harry. There's like a moment. It's like I'll send you some photos. There's a very niche window that I'm.
Okay.
But also, I think current day Harry. Like it's both. But yeah.
We did it.
We did it. Let's continue. Sly, this one's for you. Go for it.
All right. Does the reader asked, we know you love 911, OG, and Lone Star. What about Station 19? Thoughts? So if you go back to, this is an old, before the rebrand episode, we talked about, like what shows would be our WandaVision eras. And I mentioned I love medical dramas. I've watched so many of them. Like I'm not super caught up right now, but like The Night Shift, The Resident, Transplant, like Nurses, Greys. I started the Chicago universe and got through like up to like I think season 6 of Fire, and then all the other ones. I was watching literally. I had a spreadsheet, anyways, and then I fell off. But I love medical dramas. I love Station 19. I love Station 19. I'm not caught up yet. Don't talk to me about the last 2 episodes. I don't know what happens. But yeah, Station 19 was like my homework show last like not this past school year, but the school year before. And so like seasons 2 and 3 were just on a repeat all the time when I was studying. I love Station 19. I think it's, especially those 2 seasons were a lot of interesting storytelling that I really enjoyed. Awesome deaf representation, really cool, interesting storylines there. And this season, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I'm excited to see. I've been really enjoying 5B. But yeah, again, I haven't seen the last 2 episodes or like the last. I think there's 4 episodes of Grey's because I think there's 2 at the same time and then 2 after. I'm working on catching up, but yeah, love Station 19 for sure.
Love. Okay. Now we're getting into a really interesting part of the show, which we're going to transition to with the fun question, which we read it in the pre-show and then immediately all had a million thoughts. So we had to just give it its own time to shine. What is your favorite Disney sing-along song? This is a very serious question that requires the utmost professionalism.
Very serious question.
Marissa, would you like to lead?
So I have an answer, but the problem is I don't know what any of them are called.
Okay.
Because it was
a starting point.
Listen, the Disney sing-along song, Mickey's sing-along song, VHS, were a integral part of my childhood. Mm-hmm. And so I know the Halloween one, the Main Street one, the Christmas one, and the summertime one. I don't know what any of them are called. I just know that they're all my favorite.
What's like your core memory song? Mine is Halloween. Mm-hmm. And it's obviously you have spooky, scary skeletons, but there's also like that intro song that they do in the ballroom, and they're like, "Hoo, ahoo, ahoo, ahoo." Do you remember that song? That's burned into my memory frame for frame.
And they run through the haunted mansion with the gates, and they open. Yes. Oh, it's so good.
Yes. So that's the moment for me.
For me, I think it's in the summer one. I think it's at Typhoon Lagoon, and they're doing Celebration. And they're like going through the like lazy river and stuff. Mm-hmm. Also in that one, I think there's a live action Ariel Part of Your World, like a meet and greet Ariel doing Part of Your World, like on a rock. That really like rocked my world. So that one.
Sly?
I remember seeing like the like ads for it, but I don't remember ever having the like Disney sing-along song. So I have no core memories of that.
That's okay. There's a comment from Bucky I want to read in a minute, but I also have to pitch that my favorite Disney property that I would say is like my deep cut is House of Mouse. Does anyone remember House of Mouse? Because it's the entire it's the cornerstone of my life that made me want to go into late night TV. Like, if you had to pinpoint the childhood moment that predicted my entire future, it was me internalizing House of Mouse.
Oh, I loved House of Mouse. And I believe it is not on Disney Plus.
It is not. The day that Disney Plus announced every project that was going to be on Disney. Do you remember that Twitter thread that went on forever? Yes. I read every single tweet looking for House of Mouse, and it's not there. So this is my petition. Put House of Mouse on Disney Plus, please.
We're going to start a campaign.
It's on YouTube. There's clips of it on YouTube. You can watch. I have been known to go back and watch House of Mouse on YouTube. However, I'm traumatized that it's not available for constant. I would have already watched the show 4 times over if it was on Disney Plus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It deserves it.
And when you watch it back in the year 2022, has all of it aged perfectly? Not really, but have some of the jokes become absolute gold? Yes. There are some jokes that are like, I can't believe they said that and got away with it. So, but I do want to call out this comment, which is that the Disney sing-along songs, VHS tapes, would be in Bunky's WandaVision. And now I need a WandaVision sing-along song with like a little Scarlet Witch crown as like the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Rapid fire segment of the show. These are all questions that Bunky sent in, so we're calling it Bunky's Corner. Ooh. Okay, Okay, let's see how fast we can get through these. Do we want to rotate saying the question between the three of us?
Sure.
We don't have time to make
We don't
decisions.
have time.
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite childhood movie?
How are we defining childhood? Like what age range? Because I have different answers for each.
Okay, just all of them. All of them.
Before the
Secret
age
Garden,
of 16.
Secret Garden, the How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated movie, and another Cinderella story, and Princess Diaries 2.
Cheetah Girls, High School Musical. I love a Disney Channel original movie.
Yep.
And then the Cinderella story with Hilary Duff in it.
Yep. Mary Poppins, Princess Diaries 2, Cinderella story.
I also
Which
love
one?
The Lion King 1.5.
The first one. I like the Selena Gomez one, but it makes me a little sad in my heart that it's your favorite childhood movie because I was like 16 when it came out.
It came out in 2008. I was 9 years old.
No, it did not.
I'm pretty sure. I'm
It-
Googling
2008?
We were in middle school. Absolutely.
Cinder- Another
felt like a whole
Cinderella
ass adult.
story.
Marissa was 16 and mentally.
Release date September 16th, 2008.
I'm
I
so
was
impressed.
9
Oh my
years old.
god.
This is my favorite movie. I watch it at least once a month. And we were talking about it earlier. Every transitional period in my life, I've been a different one of the characters. I
Love that.
freaking love that movie.
Love
I watch
that.
it all the time.
Okay.
I do
Favorite
really like that one,
favorite
but
place
Hilary
you've
Duff.
traveled to. Favorite place you've traveled to. New York City, which means I'm about to become real obnoxious yet again next week.
Probably London.
I haven't been off the West Coast much, but the one time I was for Boston, which I spent the entire 4 days in the Boston Convention Center. But it was the time of my life. So
I really like Boston. Boston's cool.
But I love Boston. Boston's great. 30-second pitch to convince me to watch your favorite show.
I'm terrible at having favorites. I don't have favorites.
are we bringing out the timer for this?
Oh, do you want to? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if I left it on or if I turned it off.
Wait,
on
let me
here.
figure out what my favorite show is.
We really should have thought of our favorite show ahead of time.
Because I don't want to give a pitch for WandaVision because everybody already knows that.
Oh,
Nope.
Stop it. Look at that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I have one.
Great.
I know what I'm pitching.
Excellent. I'll figure it
Hold
out.
on. Hold on.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Well, I feel like Bunky's saying Our Flag Means Death, but I do Our Flag Means Death basically every week. So I don't know.
We've
I'll
already
figure
heard
it
that.
out in the next 30 seconds.
Okay. I'll go first. Ready? We ready?
Put Marissa last because I know mine.
Okay. Let's flip it around. Got it? Okay. Oh, now I have to pick between two that my
Yep.
brain just... Okay. No, I got it. I'm going for it. Okay, ready? Excellent writing. Excellent casting. There's not a character you will hate. You will love everyone. You will laugh. You will cry. You'll have a moral crisis while you watch it. It will make you reconsider everything you do in your day-to-day. It will make you reconsider what you look for in media. It is light. It is dark. It is humorous. It is love. It is kindness. The Good Place. The most
figured it out.
underrated writing you will ever experience in your life. Pure brilliance beginning to end.
Cosign.
All right. So if you like enjoying character stories, you should watch Downton Abbey. And I'm not saying this is like a perfect representation of like the times. Like it's obviously a very whitewashed and, very glamorized version of the relationships between upstairs and downstairs, but it represents both sides and it gives you really interesting and unique characters and it runs a wide range of emotions. So you get all of the feelings in one
I'm
show.
terrible at decision making, but I'm gonna go with Our Flag Means Death. So, you want emotionally mature sort of characters, emotionally intelligent characters, men unpacking toxic masculinity, queer representation that doesn't hit you over the head with like rainbow flags, like sparkles. Look at us, we're doing queer rep. It's just implicit. Diverse cast and it's funny and Taika Waititi's in it. That was terrible.
Well,
There you go.
hopefully you watch one of them.
That was awful.
I thought it was
I
great.
should also add to Downton Abbey, gay.
I should also add to The Good Place. Gay.
Yeah, I would say The Good Place is gayer than Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey, you have to really reach for it.
I don't think you have to reach for it in Downton
Not
Abbey.
anymore.
Not anymore.
I know, not anymore. Oh God. Ew.
Anyways,
I have to flip you back on the screen, or else I mentally stop. At there. Now you're in your right place.
Doesn't
Okay.
function.
Downton
function.
Abbey is gay. You have to.
Ugh.
It's rough through the series. I know on the chat, but if you get to a new era, sorry.
Highlight reel.
That
Marcus.
is not an appropriate pitch of the show. That is about a movie that came out like 3 years after the show is over.
Okay. I
The
want to
show
talk
is
about Ted
great.
Lasso.
The movies are great. There is gay in the show. There is canonical
There
gay
is,
in the
yes.
show.
Yes.
You have to understand they're telling a story in the early 1900s.
I just
So
think
like
you're
it's going to be
excusing a lot.
hard.
I just think you're excusing a lot when
Okay,
you
I'm-
want to say that they're
Listen, we're over time. We gotta speed through. I'm taking us out of this. The Good Place should have been gayer. Yes. I want to talk about
Definitely.
my laptop because I just bought a Roy Kent sticker. See it? Look how
I
big
do
Roy
see
Kent is. He's wonderful. Now he's on my iPad forevermore. I also got Taylor this week.
He's here.
Um,
He's there.
yeah.
He's there.
He's there.
Fucking where?
Roy
Roy
Kent.
Kent.
Now he's also on my iPad, which doesn't really rhyme. Anyway, I wanted to show that since Ted Lasso came up in the comments. Okay, next question. What's a fact about each of the hosts that hasn't been shared on the show before?
I've been to the Great Wall of China.
That's a good
Ooh.
fact.
It's my go-to 2 truths and a lie.
I met Randy Finoli from Say Yes to the Dress
Oh my God.
in an airport.
That's funny.
Um
And he made fun of my Harry Potter scarf, but in a loving way. And it was very funny. Okay.
That makes
I was in grade 9. It was
Oh.
before this all happened. Okay. Sorry.
all of my fun facts I feel like I share. My first concert I ever went to was a train at the Puyallup Fair.
Wow.
How were they?
It was fun.
I'm sure they do a
It
good
was like-
show.
Like 7th or 8th grade. I think it was 8th grade. It was 8th grade, so it would have been 2012.
Yeah.
Train. Yeah, it was a fun show.
Love.
Puyallup
Cool.
Fairgrounds, a place with a very disturbing history, but that's a rant for another time.
Another time. Okay. Favorite character to meet in the Disney parks?
Peter Pan.
Mary Poppins, usually because she's not always there. It will be Wanda if I ever get to meet her. Probably won't be there in the time that she's there, but someday.
I have only been to Disney once. I've never met I've never stood in line to meet the characters. Like we really did not know what we were doing when we went to Disney, but in a really kind of fun way. The only character I
Missing
kind
out.
of met, was I had Pocahontas, but she had just come out and we kind of waved at her.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not say that was my favorite. That's the only character interaction I had when we were at Disney. So
Can I change my answer to back when they had the Newsboys performance on the trolley?
yeah,
Hell yeah.
good one. Good one.
Hell
Good
yeah.
one. Yep. I'm excited to meet some Disney characters. I'm gonna cry when we meet the Avengers in a kind of weird way, but just because that'll be fun.
Oh, I can't wait.
It'll be great. I really want to meet Minnie Mouse. I don't know. Who do you think I should meet? Who do you think I would enjoy meeting?
Do you want to meet
What you
Rapunzel? You can meet
do-
Rapunzel.
Mm-hmm.
What
Big
you
time.
do is you are very, very nice and friendly to the character attendants, and then you get the in and ask them when certain characters are premiering, and
Ah.
you
You
can go
don't
to
even
the
have to
location.
do that anymore. They give you all the information on the app.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
They give you a
fancy.
list of meeting times.
Back
and
in the day, you had to
locations.
schmooze. to
Oh,
meet
back in the day, you
people.
had to just walk around and be like, "Oh, look who it is."
Wow.
No, I've really
Fancy.
gamed the Disney parks. We're gonna have a great time.
Honestly, I need it. I need a fully facilitated experience where I'm going to be so overstimulated by the whole thing. Anyway, especially, okay, let's just make it clear. Okay. We can use this as the cut if it does happen. If Bucky Barnes makes his way to Avengers Campus,
No.
I don't think I'm going to be allowed in, besties. I think they're going to say absolutely not. I'll just go, cake. And the poor guy playing Bucky's going to be like, is she okay? Cake. Anywho, okay, let's wrap this show. I'm producer Liz. I'm dealing with a lot on TikTok, but if you want to see me handle what it means to have 3.4 million people see your face, it's happening. And also lots of vlogs coming from New York next week. Lots of exciting stuff going on. If you have ever been interested in seeing Liz at her best, New York Liz is like a variant and she's about to come out. So you're truly going to see Liz at her peak, I think, over the next few days. And there might be some collaborations in store. Who knows? There might be some surprises in store. Who knows? Might be some exciting invitations that were received that I might be going to do next week. So make sure you're following me on Instagram and on TikTok. And we'll keep the conversation going. Also, Taylor Swift. Hello, seeing Taylor Swift next week. So you know that's going to be a mess and a half. Can't wait to share it all with you. That's me, Marissa.
Hello. I'm Marissa. I'm at Miss Bobissa on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can find me over there talking about
strong start. Yeah. Marissa always at the strong flex.
Yeah. Mostly probably I'm going to be tearing apart the Disney Pride stuff. The rainbow capitalism happening over there. I'm excited to rip it apart. Honestly, I love roasting Disney.
Your brand is thriving. You've done really well roasting Disney over the years.
Thank you. Looking forward to more of that. Currently trying to graduate college in the next week, so I'm a little busy, but look out for that coming soon. Just a skosh.
You can also find Marissa on Thirsty Thursdays, the Thursday after the Tonys, for a post-Tonys breakdown.
Yeah. I will not be watching the Tonys live because I will be being handed my diploma. I'm very devastated about it. It will be my rant next week.
If anyone wants to give me a ticket, I will be in New York City, and I'm very much trying to attend the Tonys. But however, I'll be outside of it either way, so I'll be in proximity to it. Anywho, Sly, plug yourself.
Hi, I'm Sly. You can find me everywhere on the internet at SlyClinMC. Usually I plug all the other shows I do, but instead I want to tell you all about Hot Games Summer, not the Best Buy sale. Fuck Best Buy for stealing our name. Of course, we're doing a whole gambit of live reactions and trailer breakdowns and all that fun stuff for all the video game happenings next week. It's super busy. You can find, I believe they have the schedule pinned on the 61 Indie Twitter. That's 61 spelled out and then Indie like INDIE. And so you will catch me on a lot of their streams on Twitch at 61indie. You will also catch me on a lot of Point in Progress streams happening next week at Point in Progress on Twitch, of course. If you have any inkling of video games or you even want to learn more, we'll be talking about them, breaking them down. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a very busy week. It's basically E3. There's lots happening. There's something every single day. And even if you're not a big games person, we're going to be doing a couple things for the Netflix showcase. They have things going on every day next week as well. Yeah, lots happening. My calendar is a nightmare, but it's going to be so much fun. So come hang out and enjoy all the new information with us.
Honestly, the best place, if you have any interest in any of this, like I would just defer directly to whatever Sly is doing and start from there. Because like all of the synthesis of information, I feel like you've got it covered. Like we can be passive enjoyers of everything because you're doing the hard work to figure out what's happening when and to do commentary on it.
If you want to know about the AAA, the big games, the big studios, all of those recaps will be on the Point in Progress YouTube channel. If you're more cozy games, indie games, a little more artsy, point and click, that kind of stuff, the recaps will be on the 61 Indie YouTube. So we're sharing hosts all week, so all of our faces are going to be on both platforms, but we're just differentiating between the type of showcases. So
super exciting. I also want to plug that we are kind of back in regular business next week as we start recapping some of the shows that we are excited about, aren't we, besties?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to plug it? Because I won't be here. I will be, New York Liz will be out and about in the city post Taylor Swift. So what's happening next week?
Next Saturday, we will be breaking down all of our thoughts from, I don't know if it's one episode or two of Miss Marvel. I think it's just a one episode release on Wednesday. But whatever of Miss Marvel is released on Wednesday, we will be breaking down and recapping and talking about and all of the fun things we usually do on Saturday.
So make sure you watch Miss Marvel and come with your notes ready to dissect it with the team. I'll be rejoining with my thoughts the week after. And of course, Only Murders in the Building Season 2 is coming up in a few short weeks. So if you haven't watched Season 1, you need to get it on your list so you can watch Season 2 with us because it's got everything. It's cast. It's Broadway. There's so much theater in that show, y'all. So much. If you contributed to any of that theater conversation earlier, you gotta be caught up on Only Murders in the Building. There's so much theater. It's comedy gold. It's like set design and costuming and makeup and music and
it's Selena Gomez.
It's
Selena
Gomez.
That should tell you alone. Selena Gomez is back in comedy.
If you like any aspect of what we do, you have to trust us that you need to go watch that show. Because honestly, I think our commentary around Season 2 is going to be off the walls bananas because I think we're in for an incredible Season 2. So make sure you watch Season 1 of all. I see you, Bunky. You got to go watch it. Go put it on your list. You can do it. I believe in you.
You got
it'll be quick
to catch up.
It's on Hulu in the US. I think Disney Plus internationally.
You can download it for a train ride. You can get an episode a day out and you'll be done in, I think, a week or so or 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So please make sure you're watching, all caught up so you're ready for that. We got Miss Marvel coming down the pipeline. And we will see you on Instagram. We should also plug Miss Alexis Blake Reads Comics. Make sure you're following Alexis. She'll be back next week as well. And make sure you're following her cats, Tommy and Sassy. You can find their Instagram tagged on Alexis's Instagram, Alexis Blake Reads Comics. And we will see you all at the next after party, right? Yeah. We've said it all. Okay, besties. We did it without Alexis. A chaotic comms major special. So happy. We'll see y'all next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.